I understand when Kevin Garnett says, I had certain feelings about Boston before he came here. I
I'm
get it.
sure people, and we know for a fact that at least in baseball and basketball, and I don't know about, and irrelevant in hockey, obviously, but that people had clauses, no trade clauses
Right.
that typically included Boston. Black athletes wanted no part of Boston, and that resonated right heavily with the Red Sox. Who, and I remember, frankly, the great transition figure there that I think was the won people over somehow. That was able to somehow be the bridge player. Was Mo Vaughn.
Move on.
I think Mo Vaughn's personality was shown through for people to make him a popular player, and with even with the white people. But I think he was a pivotal guy. I can't say the Red Sox, I mean Celtics, had in the '70s a black player that did that. Although the basketball fans appreciated all their great black players. Silas, of course, that's another pivotal figure in this whole thing, and I'm extremely proprietary toward Paul Silas as well. I consider myself a friend of Paul Silas, and I was actually privileged to speak at his service. So I was I'm very big on him. But JoJo was a quiet guy. Don Chaney, who was got some Don Chaney. I'm glad to see is involved in this. People don't remember. They should hear from Mr. Cheney.
I
And
think Mr. Cheney makes
but
himself explicitly clear in this. I think that
yes,
for me, I mean, the visuals, there's a lot of disturbing visuals that we see in episode 3. Okay. You need to watch it. A lot of disturbing visuals that we see. But when Cheney speaks, I was like, wow, okay, this guy still carries this.
no, it's good. No, he was always a quiet guy and but thoughtful. You knew that, uh, and didn't seek the limelight. And he but those of us who knew him knew he was a person of great substance, no question. Yes,
Now,
absolutely.
in '74, he was the backcourt mate with JoJo. Then
That
did
was a starting back,
Yeah, now Charlie
and
Charlie Scott came in '76.
75.
Yeah,
Uh,
who's very Charlie Scott is very entertaining, shall we say, in this.
Charlie was great. Charlie is hilarious, and he's another forthright guy. He'll tell you what's on his mind. I used to
Totally.
kid about Charlie. Charlie Scott thought he was an authority on everything. Okay, I mean, it was a fun. I used to say, if you ask Charlie Scott what time it is, he will give you the political history of Switzerland. And so that's the kind of guy he was. But oh no, I'm glad that he's quite prominent in this as well. He's very prominent in this episode. Well, the story there was very simple. The trade was made in the aftermath of the '75 failure against the Bullets, and that's I always had thoughts about that. But anyway, Paul Westphal was a star, a budding star, and he was traded for Charlie Scott, who was an established star. And people, as recently, I get this periodically. I get this question in email or text. I don't understand why they traded Paul Westphal, and I confirmed this with people over the years. The reason they traded Paul Westphal for Charlie Scott was that Paul Westphal was now going to become. Remember, Don Chaney had jumped to the ABA.
Spirits of St. Louis.
Remember that. Yes, so it's going to be a vacancy on that starting lineup, and it was definitely going to be filled by Paul Westphal, who was now going to enter his third year with the team. And they weren't sure that JoJo would accept Paul Westphal as an equal. That JoJo was used to being the guy to get 20, 25 every night. But
Right.
there might be nights when Westphal would get the 25 or 30, and JoJo would get 10, 12 shots, and he wasn't going to like that. That's what they thought, and he would accept Charlie Scott as a peer, and he did. And by the way, and now we know how Westphal went on to flourish and had a phenomenal 5 or 6 years
Yeah, I mean,
until he got hurt.
I mean, I know Paul was a friend of yours, and I was a fan of his too. He would not have had the career in Boston that he had in Phoenix.
No, No, he wouldn't have. And you're absolutely right. It turned out to be a great life changer for him. He
It was good for
appreciated what
both
happened in
parties.
Boston. But he wanted to live in there the rest of his life. Okay, he's a Californian by birth,
Yeah.
but even after he got traded to San Diego, he retired. He lived in Scottsdale the
Yeah.
rest of his life. Okay, so and now he coached around, but that's where he always had kept a home, and his wife still lives there, his widow. Yeah, we were friendly. As a matter of fact, he had Mike Lupica and his then a date he had at the time before he got married, and my wife and I, two couples, were dining at Shea Westphal about 3 days before he got traded. It was stunning for everybody. He wasn't ready for it, and God knows we weren't ready for it. It was stunning, and I lost a friend at that time. I thought I was at the time. And as you well know, I famously stayed at Westfall's house during the 1976 finals when we went to Phoenix.
You and Pat Riley.
Because I wasn't having a good. No, yeah. Well, Riles. I love the fact that Riley's in this episode 3 as an authority, which he should be, talking about things from the viewpoint of the Suns.
Right.
But what they don't is that Pat Riley in the 76 finals was the odd man out on the roster. He was the 13th man in the 12-man roster. And that when I was hanging out Shea Westphal, and after at 2 or 3 in the afternoon after practice, we're back at the pool, that among those who were hanging out were his neighbor Alvin Adams and Riley, who had nothing else to do. It was at large, hanging out at Westfall's pool because he wasn't even on the roster.
Right.
But anyway, I digress.
And I remember you telling me that. So when I saw Raleigh pop up speaking as an authority, I went, yeah, they're really pulling this one off. I mean, he was there. He was there.
People, no, of course, but I just laugh. I know this. I just laugh. I close my eyes and I see Riles at the pool,
Right.
and 76 finals. That's all.
Look, we're talking a lot about Celtics City. And whenever I watch Celtics City on HBO, I see the old garden. I even see some pictures of Bob Wright in the newspaper when he had black hair and it was long and he was a hippie with the mustache. He looked like Derek Sanderson, for God's sakes. And then you see Hondo and you see Tommy in those crazy suits. And it makes me think about the times when we would go to games at the old garden, drive down from Rumford, Maine, just an easy 4.5-hour ride. Boom. And if you want to go to a Celtics game or you want to have a memory like this with your kids, go to Game Time. It's a great app. You download it. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks, where getting tickets for your favorite team to see them play live is even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff. So you just get incredible deals on great seats. I mean, you don't have to go through like 1,000 different websites or deals. You just punch in what you want and it pops up. They have the super deal, which is always the best deal of the day. And with Game Time Picks, curation makes it easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Not just sporting events, but also you can get a little culture too. Toggling this feature shows the total up front, no surprise fees at checkouts. Plus, you get a panoramic view of the seat before you buy it. And they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered by the most flexible customer service policy in the ticket industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.